Today on Review This Thing, we're going to review this thing, the Leupold DeltaPoint Micro. This is Robbie with Review This Thing, where our goal is to bring you the most honest, thorough, unbiased, unpaid reviews on YouTube. If you've watched our channel much, you know that we really like red dots. We have red dots on our turkey guns, our ARs, and most of our rifle scopes have an illuminated reticle. So it just made sense to take a look at these pistol red dots and see what we thought. Adrian had an opportunity last spring to use the Leupold DeltaPoint Micro at a shooting event, and she really liked it. When I saw it, I was a little skeptical, but we thought it would be worth a shot. Leupold was kind enough to send us one over to test. We've now had it on this pistol for about 9 months, so I'm ready to tell you what I think about it. So let's review this thing. As you know, we always give you the facts, and the first part is fit. So fit is actually pretty easy. Leupold makes 2 versions of the DeltaPoint Micro, one to fit the Smith & Wesson M&P line and one to fit Glocks. I have the Smith & Wesson M&P Plus, and I'd have to say the DeltaPoint Micro fits it perfect. It was very easy to mount. I can't show you how to mount it because YouTube doesn't really like those kind of things, but you do have to take the rear sight post off. The rear sight pushes off with a hammer and a punch. Once you get the rear sight post off, the DeltaPoint Micro has a 2-point mount. One is a dovetail mount that fits in that rear post, and the other is the actual micro red dot that has 2 screws on either side that fits right down into that dovetail mount that gives it a firm grip. If you don't feel comfortable using a hammer and punch on your new gun, or an old gun for that matter, you can always take it to a gunsmith and they'll get it mounted for you. I've shot several hundred rounds through the pistol since mounting it, and it stayed right in place and had no troubles. Keep in mind, there are some models that the Leupold DeltaPoint Micro won't fit, like the M&P Core, the M&P EZ, and Rimfire models, and it doesn't fit the Glock Rimfire or MOS models. Overall, I've been really pleased with the fit of this red dot, so we're going to give fit a 5 out of 5. Now is the DeltaPoint Micro as advertised. The first thing they advertise is that it's fast on target. They say that it lines up with iron sights, so target acquisition is natural. When I first saw this red dot, I thought there was no way I was going to be able to get on target quick. The main reason I was so skeptical is because most red dots I've used have a much bigger picture window. And with how small this sight is, I was afraid the narrow tube would limit my ability to find the red dot and get on target. But boy, was I wrong. The fact that it does line up with iron sights, when you presentation is very normal and you see right straight through the red dot. Makes it really easy to pick up and acquire your target as well as the red dot to stay on target. I was really surprised the first few times I shot with it. I was definitely wrong about this red dot, and target acquisition is actually as easy as they say it is. It did take a couple of practice sessions to get a little bit faster at it, and obviously you need to keep practicing to stay proficient. The second thing that they advertise is that it's extremely accurate. Once we got it mounted and zeroed, I've really been impressed with how accurate it is. In a couple of different sessions, we backed up to 20 and 25 yards, and I was able to stay on target with probably an 8x10 steel target, but I was actually hitting about a 6-inch circle right in the middle of it. Even at closer distances, it may be that any red dot would give me something to focus on to keep me more accurate, but I can definitely say this one has kept me more accurate at closer ranges and longer ranges than I am without it. The third thing they advertise is that it's the most compact red dot on the market, making it easy to conceal. The total length is 2.25 inches, the width of the objective and eyepiece is 0.35 inches, and it sits a total of ½ an inch off the top of the slide. Total, it only weighs 1.1 ounce, making it pretty doggone small. I've been able to carry it pretty easily in this 1791 smooth concealment holster. This is an inside the waistband holster, and that piece right there keeps it covered and keeps any of those edges from hitting me. You'll probably still need a holster that's red dot compatible, but I haven't had any trouble carrying it. Based on how quickly I can get on target, how accurate I am with this red dot, and how easy it is to conceal, I'm going to give as advertised a 5 out of 5. Now on to construction and durability. Leupold designs, builds, and tests their sights in the United States. It definitely feels really sturdy, and the 2-piece mounting design that we talked about in fit really locks it into place. The 3 MOA dot has 8 levels of varying brightness, so you can adjust it to any light condition. At 3 MOA, the dot is big enough to see easily, but not so big that it blocks out your target. As with most sights, it has an adjustable height and windage right here on the side. It's easy to adjust with a 1/16 Allen wrench. One thing I really like about this sight is it has motion sensor technology, which basically means if the sight is on, but you leave it sitting still for about 5 minutes, the red dot will actually go off. And then just a slight amount of movement will cause the red dot to come right back on. That should really help with battery life. They claim that on high power, the battery should last about 500 hours and up to 100,000 hours on low power. I've switched it from low power to high power, basically depending on the light condition that I needed. Obviously, it doesn't stay on because of the motion sensor technology, but I haven't had to turn it on for about 7 months now. I don't know how long it'll actually last, but it's doing really good right now. It has stayed zeroed that whole time. In fact, I even took it completely off the gun one time. It took very little zeroing to get right back on target. It also has what Leupold calls a ghost ring design. This ghost ring design basically witnesses with the front sight, so even if the battery is dead and you didn't know it, you should still be able to come up and get on target pretty easily. It's completely enclosed for weatherproof protection, which makes it waterproof, fog-proof, and shockproof. The only part of construction and durability that would be a nice change is to take the slide off the gun for cleaning. You actually have to unscrew the battery compartment back here. It's really not that big of a deal because it changes nothing to do with the sight, but it would be a nice change. As small and compact as that red dot is, I really don't know where they could put the battery yet, but finding something that could be different is part of what we do. So combining how solid this red dot feels, easy zeroing adjustments, and great battery life so far, only taking off just a little bit for having to unscrew the battery compartment to actually take the slide off for cleaning, I'm going to give construction and durability a 4.8 out of 5. Next, testimonials and reviews. Overall, the Leupold DeltaPoint Micro gets really high praise and great positive comments, but you guys know we're going to give you the negative comments. One comment was that the button and the battery are really big. Another comment was that there was a cloud around the red dot. That person had pictures, and there actually was a cloud around the red dot. Pretty sure they probably got in contact with Leupold customer service and hopefully got it taken care of. One comment was about having to remove the sight to remove the slide for cleaning, but obviously we found out if you just remove the battery compartment, the slide comes right off. Someone else said that it doesn't maintain zero. We haven't had that problem, but we've only put about 500 or so rounds through this gun with that sight on it. Maybe they had that problem at higher rounds. I'm not sure, but we'll see. And another person said that it was uncomfortable to carry with the battery on the back. I've already mentioned this, but with the holster I've been using, I haven't found it to be uncomfortable. You guys know that we give you the score that we found, and that score for testimonials and reviews is a 4.4 out of 5. Now, should I buy this thing? You guys know the drill. It depends on what you want. If you've always been against anything but iron sights on a pistol, then thank you for watching this far. But you're probably not going to want it. If you've always been an iron sight shooter but are open to a red dot, this might be the one for you. The fact that it sits so low on the gun and actually witnesses with the front sight, it makes presentation very natural. If you don't have a Glock or a Smith & Wesson M&P, you probably ought to look for another red dot. I've really been impressed with target acquisition and how accurate this red dot has helped me be at most any distance. I haven't been able to run the battery life down even with running it for 7 months, and combine that with how much I like my Smith & Wesson M&P Plus, the fact that it fits perfect on it, I'm going to give Should I Buy This Thing a 5 out of 5. Thank you for watching our Leupold DeltaPoint Micro review. While you're on here, watch a bunch of other reviews. If you like them, share them with your friends and click the like button. If you really like them and haven't yet, consider subscribing. You can also get more content from our website, reviewthisthingtv.com, and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok.